Hey, I'm Randy Younger, New York City's go to film enthusiast. Every week, I dive deep into the world of cinema with special guests from the New York City film scene. Whether I'm interviewing industry insiders or comparing the latest releases, there's always something for every movie lover. Join me as I explore the magic of film and discover what makes these movies unforgettable. And so you have two great Catherine O'Hara Christmas movies, and now we're going to segue into another Christmas movie Miss O'Hara has done. Tyler, I know you're a fan of this one. Take it away.
Oh, I'm more than a fan of this film. It is actually one of my top five favorite movies of all time because it's the film that made me appreciate the art of film when I was a young kid. It made me look at film in a whole different way. It told me like film is more than just entertainment. It's a creative art, and I really love the film for that because it has a simple story, but it's endlessly creative, having a surprise in every scene, something to marvel at, whether in the music, the characters, the storytelling, the visuals, the world building. It's just an incredible movie. And it blew my mind when I found out that Catherine O'Hara voiced Sally in the film because I do not hear the Home Alone mom when I listen to it. I mean, okay, now I can sort of pick up on it a little bit, but I hear the character Sally whenever I hear her voice acting, and she is phenomenal in the movie for what she was given. In fact, the film was based on a poem that Tim Burton wrote that later became a picture book
Hmm.
and obviously a film. And Sally was not in the original source material. She was actually made for the film, and she was partly inspired. Her design was partly inspired by Batman Returns, which Tim Burton chose to direct as opposed to Nightmare Before Christmas. She was
Right.
inspired by Catwoman's design because of all the stitches and seams. That's how Sally was created, generally speaking.
Right.
And honestly, I feel like she was the missing ingredient of the original story because I always felt there was something more for Jack to appreciate because in Jack's journey, he's missing something, but what is he missing? It's more than just coping, with the loss of things that don't go well. Sally was the missing ingredient in Jack's life, and I like that as a character. She's very resourceful, she's vulnerable, but she's also very smart. She's wise beyond all the characters in Halloween Town, including Jack Skellington. And I didn't even know Catherine O'Hara could sing when I saw this movie. I was still blown away. And a lot of people say that Sally's song is their least favorite. And while I could see why, I still love the melody. I love her singing.
Hmm.
I just feel like it should have been placed elsewhere in the film because, we want to get to that Christmas action.
Right.
And she also voices one of Oogie Boogie's henchmen, again, who is not in the original source material. She voiced Shock, one of the trick or treaters. And again, she's just as hammy as she is in like her comedy. She's really playing up that witch accent. I love that
Yeah.
whenever they take off their masks, they look exactly like the masks, which was lifted from a Twilight Zone episode entitled Masks. And yeah, she's just a blast to listen to as well. I really think this is some of her best voice acting work. She would definitely go on to do Frankenweenie, another Tim Burton film, where
Right.
she would voice the mom, the gym teacher, and the weird girl. And she's just incredible. I'm not sure if this is her first voice acting role, but it's definitely one that stands out to me.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was the mother from Home Alone who did this. And she sounded so good. That high-pitched witch voice was fantastic. I totally agree.
Mhm.
Great singer too, O'Hara.
Yes.
And she actually went on to do perform the songs live with Danny Elfman and Paul Rubens. They did that every Halloween basically, I think in Los Angeles. And I did catch them in New York as well. And just great screen presence, great stage presence too. So yeah, Catherine was great, great singer. So and really funny too. Um, Nightmare's a great Burton film for sure. Not his best. It is the most widely known Danny Elfman soundtrack, score, and song track. Again, not his best. My favorite personally is the year before, Batman Returns, has the best score he's ever written, in my opinion. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
O'Hara, she really added a lot to his music and the film in general. So yeah, good pick, Tyler. Thank you for that. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about arguably some of O'Hara's best work. was in the Christopher Guest directed films. Her first one with Guest was Waiting for Guffman, which was
Yes.
really sweet. It's about basically the life of theater performers and in a small town. That was in 1996, and so it was the first mockumentary that Guest did with O'Hara. They would go on to do probably my favorite of their films, Best in Show, which was 2000. And this was basically about a group of strangers and their dogs, and they're competing their dogs in sort of a Westminster dog show. And it's just got such a great cast. Catherine O'Hara is married to Eugene Levy, who has two left feet. There's John Michael Higgins. I think, yeah, Michael McKean's in it.
Yeah, Michael
Uh,
McKean, I think, is in all of the
Yeah,
guest
it's
yeah,
all
okay.
the guests. Parker
Yeah.
Posey,
Parker Posey, yep.
Yeah.
Fred Willard in one of the funniest
Yeah. Yeah.
Jane Lynch.
performances.
Jane Lynch is
Yep,
great.
Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
And of course, Best in Show also pairs her up with Eugene Levy.
Yep,
yeah,
And
Mm.
their dynamic here is really funny.
yeah.
yeah.
The
Definitely.
whole thing of like her having boyfriends and one night stands
Right,
everywhere they go.
right. Dennis Miller, not the Larry Miller, sorry, is one of them. Oh, it's so funny. So all of his guest movies have this just lighthearted feel about it,
Mhm.
almost like Schitt's Creek in a way. It's kind of
Yeah.
this
Yeah. And a bit
similar.
of physical comedy when she twists her ankle right before the show.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's that's you can't forget that. So after Best in Show, they did A Mighty Wind together, which I actually rewatched yesterday. Fantastic look at folk music and
Mhm.
of the 60s and then kind of reviving it for the early 2000s. And again, you have the ensemble cast there as well. That would then lead to, it looks like O'Hara's last collaboration with Guest, For Your Consideration,
Yep.
which is
Yeah.
basically another mockumentary. This one chronicling the life and the timeline between making a movie and possibly getting nominated for an Oscar. And at the front of it all is O'Hara, who's like this aging actress who desperately wants to be recognized for once in her career. And it's kind of heartbreaking actually, but
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
does it in a way that's like really bittersweet and fun and
Mhm.
really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So she was great at just
he was great in
towing the
that.
line between comedic and dramatic. It was so good.
Yeah. Well, the journey that her character goes on in that movie, because when you first meet Marilyn Hack, she is very much just a working actress.
Yeah.
She is I will show up, I will read, I will do my lines, I might dream of things like the first scene of her doing the monologue from the black and white film that of course bookends the movie. She might dream about those things, but she's a very practical person and she doesn't really imagine that that's ever going to happen for her, the Oscar. Her like hair and makeup person might talk up her performances of past, but she it's really the problem that her downfall is ultimately wanting, like having that taste of it and
Right.
truly wanting it, and then getting caught up in having to go on talk shows and being hyper aware of her appearance and unfortunately undergoing some really, really bad plastic surgery.
Strange. Yeah, very,
Um,
yeah.
Mhm.
and yeah, the last scene with her doing the monologue and then talking to her acting class is honestly that, and the scene of her waiting to see the Oscar nominees
Yeah.
is just it's heartbreaking, especially.
Mhm.
And it's funny because for A Mighty Wind she sang the song that was nominated for best song, which was A Kiss at the End of the Rainbow. And you have to imagine that during that season when that song got nominated she might have gone through a similar sort of
Right.
roller coaster of emotions about that, about being involved in a movie that's nominated for an Oscar.
Mhm.
um
Hmm.
and the fact that she was never recognized herself, and that if actually for your consideration was really the one time that she was really highly considered that she might be a dark horse for the Oscars,
Right.
that they might, like not only nominate her for that, but for her body of work.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
And in A Mighty Wind, she was also paired up with Eugene. And they put in the movie, they were basically former lovers, and now
Right.
they're kind of just thrown back together in this awkward professional situation where they
Mhm.
have to, work together as a singing duo again. And I think also with Catherine, Eugene's performance in that was very heartbreaking as well because he's like, you could tell he's like experienced all this emotional trauma. He's
Mhm.
very like subdued now. He at one point he takes a walk around Manhattan,
Yeah.
trying to find a rose for Catherine O'Hara's character.
Yeah.
They were just so great together, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy that since the 70s they were basically working together and cultivating this friendship, and it was just like a really beautiful thing. And I think that's chemistry at its very best between those two.
Agreed.
You know,
Well, there's a reason why for as long as they've worked that Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara have been paired up so many times
Yeah.
Mhm.
across their careers.
Mhm.
yeah. So O'Hara has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think they should have shared one star, to be honest. That would have been amazing.
Or had right
Yeah,
next to
right
each
next to each other.
next door to each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's great. And we're gonna get into Schitt's Creek in just a moment, but Eric, I know you wanted to talk about this movie, and
Mhm.
it is a wonderful adaptation of a children's book, Where the Wild Things Are. This movie came out in 2009, and I believe the original author was Maurice Sendak,
Yep.
Yes.
and and I think this adaptation was fantastic. It was a combination of live action, CGI, and puppetry and animatronics.
Yeah.
And I watched it last night, and it was my second time seeing it since it first came out. I was blown away at how good it was,
Yeah.
not just because
Me
of
too.
not just because of the visuals, but the performance of the young boy, Max Records. He's fantastic in this, and the story is great too. The music is wonderful. It's just a very
Mhm.
heartwarming, great movie that basically looks like it was ripped from the pages of the book.
Right.
So, Eric, take it
Mhm.
away with this one.
Well, whenever we were looking for like movies to watch to highlight, somebody always was thinking a little outside the box. And so, kind of in the same way what Tyler was talking about, Nightmare Before Christmas, I think Where the Wild Things Are does a really good job of highlighting Catherine O'Hara's voice acting work, of which she has multiple. And of course, I'm always looking for an excuse because, as we talked about, I think Where the Wild Things Are is I think is true masterpiece.
Yeah.
And I think highlighted by the fact that a lot of the voice cast was kind of outside the normal with
Yeah.
Gandolfini as Carol,
Yeah.
but
Perfect.
O'Hara's performance as Judith is one of my favorite because it's one where she's kind of you can tell it's a Catherine O'Hara character when you hear it, even with the design of the of Judith's has a very much her look, but it's the ability of her to be able to go between the anger that Judith has, kind of
Yeah.
the rage and the
Mhm.
anger and the fear that she has at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that shows just the diversity of her acting, but also
Mhm.
just the highlight of her voice role in Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah. And yeah, and throughout the movie, she's always like on the verge of eating Max.
Yep.
It's frightening and hilarious at the same time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
For some reason, O'Hara is just very good at towing that line of
Yeah.
like dark and yeah and really fun. So I
Hmm.
think she did a great job in that role. It's a smaller part, but
Hmm.
I think she did the best with it that she could.
Yeah. It's the
Um,
fact that that one minute she's like fun and shy, just kind of silly, but the next one that she is the most intimidating
yeah,
Yeah.
of all the wild things next to
Yeah.
Carol. Like
Yeah.
during the during the dirt fight with the come out. No. It's like, no, you hit me in the
Yeah.
face.
Hmm.
and I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the directions. Fantastic. Spike Jones.
Mm.
He's probably best known for his quirky drama, and he's most notably like being John Malkovich. And he actually used Catherine Keener in that movie and in this one. She plays the mom,
Mhm.
and she's only on screen for maybe less than 10 minutes, but she does a great job too, actually. It's her opposite Max Records, the young actor in this, Max. And he's a great, I mean, he's, I believe, retired from acting. He's in about 28 years old. I looked him up. He was in a movie 2 years after Wild Things called The Sitter. I don't know if you guys saw that one, the Jonah Hill
I'm
ripoff.
aware of it, but never saw
You-
it. No.
it's actually very funny, and he plays one of the kids that Jonah Hill is babysitting.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, he's in that, and yeah, this movie's great. I love the score.
Oh,
Uh, the soundtrack is great. There's some like original songs, I believe.
I think what makes this film so different than most kids' films at the time is it actually treats its audience like adults. Like, this is a film that's colorful, there are no pop cultural references, it's not juvenile, there's no villain,
Mm.
and there's more talking and playtime instead of action, which I found very amusing because the film is about how we use our imagination to escape from reality. And I like as the film moves along, his reality is starting to come back to him
Mm.
slowly but surely. And I love that all the characters are different versions of Max or someone that he knows in life. And it's not obvious, it's not hitting you on the head with it.
Mhm.
It's very subtle. I think it's one of the smartest kids' films I've ever seen, especially when it comes to picture book adaptations. I think that, along with Nightmare Before Christmas, are
Mm.
the examples of how you adapt a picture book to the big screen for an hour and a half running time.
Yeah.
But you know what? I wouldn't say that this is appropriate for most children. Maybe older kids
Yeah.
I'm a
enter it.
Yeah.
child of the 80s. You know what? RoboCop was
Well,
our kids'
That's a
so
good point.
movie.
the
We're fine. We
You
turned
know,
out fine.
the
but
funny thing
now
is that
nowadays,
yeah, this movie actually, when they were doing focus groups
Yeah.
and early screenings of it, a lot of parents were upset by it.
Right.
Like they said, my kid won't get this, and my kid will hate this, and it's too sad and it's too scary. And what it comes down to is that this is a movie about childhood, but it's not necessarily meant for children. It's
right,
meant to evoke the feelings that you have in childhood, especially for someone like Max, who is a child of divorce, a child that, his sister is getting older and not wanting to play with him as much
Right.
anymore, that's going
Mhm.
through a lot of hard feelings of his mom dating again. And there's also this time around, I can't believe it took me this time around to really get it, but I really think that there's an underlying hint that part of character Carol's characterization is his dad, and that his dad was perhaps abusive, and that there was abuse in their household before his parents split. And it also explains a lot of, especially with Judith, like kind of her wild swinging moods and the feelings of not feeling safe, even in moments when he's falling asleep amongst all the other monsters, that he's
Right.
still kind of keeping an eye open and listening to Carol as he's dreaming, because he's worried, what if something happens and I'm not safe anymore. So
Yeah, the notion of family, togetherness, friendship.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think this might be one of the very best movies that deals with the power of imagination. And
Agreed.
but that's probably derived from the book. So we have
Hmm.
to not credit the movie, but credit Mr. Maurice Sendak for that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
so yeah, Where the Wild Things Are, fantastic film. Check it
Mhm.
out. Show your kids, hopefully not too young.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
if
definitely,
if they're Max's age, maybe.
right.
No, definitely if they're Max's age.
Yeah.
Because there is stuff that kids will enjoy, and there's stuff that adults can enjoy, and I feel like it's a film that just gets better with age. So I think it's the perfect film to show
Because it
Yeah.
kind of
to a younger generation.
in a way it kind of reminded me of The Page Master. I don't know if guys know about that one.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
A little
Yeah.
bit, kind of,
A little bit.
parallels,
Yeah.
which was also based on a children's picture book.
Right.
So it's interesting parallels there.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I think it's if you're looking for kind of a more of Catherine O'Hara's voice work as a hidden gem, I would
Yes.
definitely say for where the wild things are.
Indeed. Good pick, Eric.
100%.
Honestly, Eric, if you didn't suggest this one, I would have it would totally gone over my like I would have just left it back in 2009.
I'm one of those people, like I said, I think I think it is a masterpiece of a movie. I think it just any excuse I can have to revisit, I will always find.
Well, there you go, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm with you.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. So let's see here. We got a couple minutes left, and I wanted to just end things on basically the last most notable works from Miss O'Hara. We're gonna fast forward. Actually, we're gonna stay in 2009 for a bit. I want to mention a very ridiculous cameo or a guest appearance rather from O'Hara on Curb Your Enthusiasm, where she played Marty Funkhauser's crazy sister who sleeps with Jeff. Spoiler. She's like this very wacky woman. It's really hard to describe her performance. Just go on YouTube and check out Curb Your Enthusiasm and just type in Bam Bam. You'll know what I mean. But she is hilarious in that, and that was back in '09 as well. Fast forward a few more years, we're gonna go to 2015 for a little show, a little Canadian show called Schitt's Creek, where once again Catherine has reunited with Eugene Levy, and they basically play a once rich and powerful family whose fortune gets taken away from them from their business manager, who basically embezzles the money from them, and now they are forced to live like common folk and move to a town, a small town actually called Schitt's Creek. And they must basically survive amongst the commoners.
Mhm.
And it's actually a very funny show. Towards the end of its run, it won a bunch of Emmys and Golden Globes. Uh, O'Hara won, I believe. Eugene won. His son is also involved. They actually created it together, father and son, Dan Levy. And it's just got a great cast, great supporting cast, excellent writing. I love the tone. It's just very lighthearted. It actually reminds me a lot of Arrested Development, and it's kind of hard to pick one over the other. And yeah, they're both great shows, but Schitt's Creek, it had a good run. I think it was 5 seasons,
Six.
6 seasons,
I
excuse
think it
me.
was 6 seasons.
I think so, yeah.
But
Perfect amount. And
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it says a lot by the fact that this, unfortunately, now that we know the end of the career, but this late in her career, that she still creates probably one of her most iconic characters in
Yeah.
Moira Rose.
And some of her most quotable
Absolutely, yeah.
moments.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's like Moira Rose is like somebody that is a pop culture fixture now.
Yeah.
yeah, she is, and that weird upper crust voice that she
The
With
baby.
the baby.
David.
And I
so
mean,
good.
the probably one of the most iconic comedy sequences of the past
Fold in the
decade.
cheese,
With
yeah.
like, I will never hear "fold in the cheese" the same
Yep.
way ever again.
What does that mean? You
David,
fold the
I can't
cheese.
show you everything. It's one thing.
Fold, fold in the cheese. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Chris Elliott as the mayor, Roland Schitts.
Yes.
The actress who plays his wife, Jocelyn, is fantastic. There's a very small role here from the character's name is Bob, and every time he comes onto the screen, he does this like weird half jog, and his hands are like he does this thing with his
Yeah.
hands. It's strange.
Well,
Also, the daughter Alexis does a weird
yep.
thing with her hands too.
She
Uh,
has a lot of weird things.
yeah. But it's so like endearing and cute, and it's funny, and it just works. And
Well, I,
Yeah.
it's
I know
great.
one of the things that I think one of the things I love about Moira is that she integrates herself into the town. And I know it
Like the
the
choir.
choir, the
Uh,
city council,
city
like, and I
Gals.
know it all culminates into your favorite moment of Schitt's Creek when she puts on
The
the
cabaret. Yeah.
cabaret
Yeah.
performance
Yeah.
and the speech she gives to Stevie about and
Yeah.
how she actually is able to share that actually shows everybody her love of
Yeah.
acting and theater.
Yeah, like the way that she grows with so many of the
Yeah.
characters and that they acknowledge perhaps like some shortcomings with her relationship, like particularly with Alexis, the fact that her and Alexis are not as close as her and David, and the fact that they actually acknowledge that
Yeah.
and that they spend time to like actually give them time together
Yep.
and for them to find some common things
Right.
past the fact that that they come with cards and questions on them.
I love
um
it.
yeah.
It's great because they as a rich family, they were very disconnected from one another.
Yeah.
Now they're forced to connect, and
Yeah.
that's actually a very, very
And
sweet.
that's where the show really finds itself in that
Yeah.
realization. It's not just
Yeah.
connecting with the
And
community, but reconnecting with
and
themselves.
also it does feel very for your consideration at points, particularly the storyline with the crows have eyes.
Yes.
It feels like something that her character from For Your Consideration would be getting a call for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And another masterclass in comedy is the wine commercial.
The wine commercial.
Nice. So many great moments for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was great. Just I love 6 seasons was just the right amount, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all streaming on I think various platforms. So
Yeah. I believe it's on Max at the moment.
yeah, HBO Max, I think, and Hulu. Um,
Listen.
Yeah.
yeah. Tyler, are you a fan of Schitt's Creek?
I've never watched it,
Okay.
You
Well,
and I
definitely
didn't
need
have
to.
really the
Recommend.
yeah,
time to, but I'm curious of seeing it after hearing this conversation, so I appreciate you asking.
of
Yeah.
course.
It does take a little bit to get going to kind of figure out its vibe, but
Yeah. We'll have to find.
it's very well worth sticking with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you could just see like the scenes between Moira and Johnny. These two actors, you can tell they've been working together over the decades, that their friendship is there. And
Yeah.
I really cannot get enough of them. And they've just, everything they did together was gold.
Yeah.
Comedic gold, I'd say.
Mhm.
So, Schitt's Creek, everybody. Awesome. Trying to think, any honorable mentions for Catherine?
Ooh, I mean,
Well,
everything she was in.
definitely
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's true. Good point. Well, we didn't touch it. We didn't talk about the studio, uh, which was one of her final things that she did. She had
Mhm.
a supporting role there. I think she was like an aging movie executive.
In the storyline where Seth
Rogan.
where he takes over her job, but then ends up kind of needing her to come back to help with some movies.
yeah.
Wow.
She's the old studio head who got pushed out, but still wants to
Yeah.
essentially have a producing role in most of the
And
movies.
she's giving him a lot of tough love
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
things
Yes.
that
Yeah.
she's like, okay, you think that you're going to come in and make the next Raging Bull, but it's not that simple.
Even though it's not necessarily her, the Ron Howard episode of the studio
Oh,
is Chef's Kiss.
Hmm.
yeah. That show's amazing. There's some parallels to Entourage, that kind of, I guess you would call it mockumentary almost, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just like a day in the life of behind the scenes of the movie industry, which I love that stuff. And
Mhm.
you know, yeah, the studio I believe was at Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Also, Catherine was in, I think, an episode or a few episodes of The Last of Us, the video game adaptation
Mhm.
TV series. That's
Yeah.
Because she
also
was an original character that was not in the games.
good trivia. Okay,
Mhm.
interesting. So there you go. So she was working until, till the end. And
Right.
Yeah.
But it
And
also, yeah, it shows that she would do comedy, drama, that there was
yeah.
no avenue she would not go on.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And even in the smallest of roles, she was very memorable.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and yeah, another small role in Martin Scorsese's After Hours,
Mhm.
1985. It's kind of like an adventure dramedy that takes place. It's like a night in the life of this guy who goes on a date in New York City, and then it just goes totally off the rails. She plays, I believe, the roommate of the guy's date, and she has a very small part in that, but she was very funny, very good in that too. Um, very interesting actress. She like you guys said, she did it all.
It really meant a lot to me to be on this episode. I have to say that when I did hear the news that Catherine O'Hara had passed, I was first in shock, and
Yeah.
I actually did get very emotional. I think I
Yeah.
cried for probably about an hour, which really speaks to how much she felt like a part of everybody's lives and how she felt like our mom or our crazy aunt or our friend.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
She basically helped raise us all, I think, is safe.
yes,
she
yes.
did. She
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
did.
You know what I mean? And especially her scenes with John Candy, he's gone too, so it's even more impactful. And just these great legends that are really a part of our childhood and our adulthood, and
Yes.
it's just really special. And I'm so happy that she's part of that. So. Thank you guys so much for sharing this episode with me. This was a wonderful talk, and I'm hoping Catherine is looking down on us and smiling. And I'm sure we're gonna watch her movies for many years to come, and with a smile. So, all right, I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar, where we talk all things film and sometimes TV. We'll see you next time. Take care.